All right, guys, we are starting a new block today. Pretty excited about what we're going to be getting into. We'll be looking to get out a block overview video as well. So for now, let's just get into it. We'll talk about what we're doing and kind of give some foresight on what we're going to be planning on doing in the future. So starting out on Monday, we are going to start out with some sets of 10 on the back squat. You can kind of expect that higher volume stuff for the first 4 weeks. And then we'll start transitioning down to sets of 5, but still a higher volume block than what we've been doing. Now, looking at this, we are going to start that first set at 60%, and then we want you just to aim for your last set to be between 75 and 80%. Okay, so we just established that new 1 rep max, kind of base it off of that and try to get as close to that as you can. Make sure we're recording that top set because we will be looking at adjusting the volume and adjusting. Basically, we're going to be undulating volume and intensity in this block opposed to just doing one or the other week to week. So just really think about logging that so we know where you're at and how to adjust for the next week. After that, we have on the 3 minutes. We have 5 rounds there. We're going to do 10 dumbbell power cleans, 15 air squats, 10 dumbbell facing burpees. Each of those rounds will be for time. We are trying to keep those between 90 and 120 seconds. So just scale the dumbbells to something that you can do unbroken. You should move fairly quickly. The way I would look at doing this, guys, as you start out, again, if it's on the 3 minutes, it is going to be roughly a 1-to-1 rest up to just a 1 minute rest. So really try to run this at 80% at the beginning, kind of pace the first round, and then you'll kind of know if you need to speed up or slow down. But if you come out too hot on that first round, it's going to be really easy to start falling off because that rest is not really long. Okay, so we're not going to have a ton of rest there. You scale the burpees back to 8 if we need to, just to keep those consistent and moving. You also could just do a jumping clap on the burpee in order to keep the intensity up. Tuesday, we have on the 5 minutes for 4 rounds, 400-meter run, 10 box jump overs, and then 15 pull-ups. Our RX Plus will be a tall box, and then we'll either do 15 chest to bars or 10 bar muscle-ups. When kind of figuring out which one you should do, either that or even doing the fitness of jumping chest to bars, we really want to look at just being able to move very consistently, okay? If we have, we should be taking roughly to be anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes around here, okay? So kind of similar to even Monday as far as, you're not getting equal work rest, but you're going to get somewhere similar. So it'll be a little bit less rest than it was to the work. We want to really look at just keeping consistent rounds here. I would start out and actually try to get a little bit faster each time. Really what this workout is about is being able to turn around and then hit those moderate blocks of pull-ups. If you can do those unbroken, great. If you can go 5, 5, 5, great. If you can do them in 3s, also totally fine. But just try to keep it under the 4 minutes, and then that's what you're going to kind of be gauging on what movement you're going to be doing. Okay, as if you start out with bar muscle ups and they start failing, just move the chest to bars. Same thing with the chest to bars. Start with the highest level skill you can do today, and then change it if you need to. The accessory work is going to be a weighted Sorensen, so just holding that weight on the GHD sit-up, hollow rocks, and Spanish squats, really pushing it into the quads. Looking at this being more of a knee health and core work today as far as just for the accessory, just kind of finishing off the day. Wednesday, first time ever programmed in class, we have the bench press, okay? You're going to see a lot of high volume and tempo stuff early on, so we have 2 sets of 15, 3 sets of 10. We're going to have you warm up to where that set of 15 is 3 to 4 reps from failure on that first set. And then you can build, but we want to make sure we can hit those numbers. And this is not a true max, okay, guys? We want to make sure we're keeping that 2 second down, 1 second pause on the chest, and then driving up. And the whole goal, especially early in this block, is to get acclimated with the bench press. If it's something that you've never done, then that's what we're going to be looking at, just getting you involved with it. If it's something that you're already comfortable with, just look at this as a reacclimation. Make sure you listen to the coaches. We don't want to see that the butt is on the seat. The shoulders should stay pinned. We should have no movements at the shoulder or even at the elbows or having anything kind of rolling or turning in. And you must wrap your hands. There will be no naked grips here or, doing that false grip. None of that stuff. We want to make sure you guys are safe, especially with the bench press. And again, keeping it light early on will ensure that you have a long-term success with this and really getting that movement down and ingrained before moving on to lifting heavy weights, which we will do. After that, we have a 9-minute AMRAP. We're looking at 50 double unders, 5 shoulder to overhead, 175, 120, just throughout something that was just going to be a little bit heavier than what we've normally programmed. That should be able to be done in one set, whether that's and they should either be push jerks or maybe even some split jerks. But obviously you need to make sure that you can power clean that, because that will come from the ground. And then we're going to be doing 10 ring rows with the feet on the box. So you can look at this workout as really making sure that we're getting through the double unders and we're moving those consistently. If we don't have those, we can do single unders with a heavy rope, or even just doing single unders with the normal rope. And then pushing a heavy shoulder to overhead that is going to take you one set to do, and then rolling into those ring rows. I think that this will be anywhere from 5 to 8 rounds, maybe 9. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's a decent amount of volume at a heavier load today, but the whole goal here is to make sure that we're hitting really crisp lifts with that shoulder to overhead, and then pushing a high range of motion with the ring rows. We don't do those a lot in class. So if you can get your feet on the box, that is going to be very challenging for 10 reps. If you struggle to do that in, 2 sets, mostly it should be 1 set, but 2 sets, then make sure that we're just like moving our feet back, and the further our feet go back, the easier that is to accomplish. Thursday, going to be mixing it up a little bit just throughout this whole block. It'll be sometimes look a lot like what we've been doing. But on a day like today, we're really just going to work on some quality of movement and trying to do a little bit different movements and keeping things light and pushing you guys to kind of challenge you in a different way, especially with these different pairings that show up a lot in the typical CrossFit classes that we do, or CrossFit style workouts. But for this, it's really going to be quality and moving well, and just getting those different movement pairings down that are consistently showing up, and challenging you to some new movements. So we have 5 strict chin-ups. So we have those that, just our palms are going to be facing us. And then we're going to be going into 10 PVC pipe overhead squats. If you don't really ever do overhead squats, that's where you need to be. Or an empty barbell, but really we want to make sure that we're really pushing the range of motion. It's going to be very challenging for a lot of you guys, but if we think we're doing those chin-ups, then we want to kind of just focus on really opening up the shoulder and getting into flexion and really trying to drive home a new movement. And then you got 10 bike calories. So you're just moving steady throughout that. You'll rest 4 minutes, and you've got 8 minutes. We got kettlebell, sumo, deadlift, high pulls. You'll take one to one side, walk it down 50 feet, switch, do other 50 feet, and then you're going to row. And then we have those sandbag RDLs to high knees, where we're hugging that, taking it down to the ground, bringing it up, and then bringing one knee up and then the other. You have 5 of those, and then you're going to go straight into a carry and then rolling into the ski. So this is going to be a pretty challenging day. Keep everything light and focus on your range of motion and moving well before you're trying to, push any harder. And then on those endurance pieces of equipment, just try to think about staying steady throughout the whole thing. Friday, we have 21, 15, 12, 9 hang power snatches and toes to bar. We have a time demand of roughly 6 to 10 minutes here. As we look at the hang power snatches, this whole workout is going to be very grippy with the hang power snatches and the toes to bar. So pick a hang power snatch weight that you think you can move really well. I would say you should be able to do the first round unbroken, not saying you have to do it unbroken. But when you're looking at the weight and you're looking at 21, you're like, I'm going to have to do 7, 7, 7 right from the get-go. Then that weight's probably too heavy. This weight should be something that you should move fairly well, okay, and be able to move fairly quickly. And really, it almost turns into like a high hang position and pull and push, and really just taking the shoulder through that full range of motion, getting into that snatch position a little bit as we don't hit it a ton, keeping it light and thinking about just moving well. And then on the toes to bar, you're just going to manage what you have, okay? If you can do that, as we look at this, we have 57 total reps today, so moderate amount of volume for the toes to bar. So just manage those the best you can. Again, if we look at that being roughly 114 reps, we're looking at being able to hold 11 reps a minute. Okay, so that's kind of what the target is, 11 reps a minute, in order to get it in that 10-minute time domain. And once we finish that, guys, we're going to keep hammering those curls. Okay, so we have dumbbell curls to start. That's double dumbbell. Palms are up. Really try to keep those elbows, bring the elbows forward. Basically, the dumbbells stop at the chin to the eyes, and then back down. And the dumbbell curl specifically is something that we really want to push the eccentric load. So coming down nice and slow, to that full range of motion before coming up. It's better to go lighter and slower with the dumbbell than trying to just push weight. It's really not that important when it comes to growing the bicep and building size in the bicep. It's all about control, full range of motion, and challenging yourself. So that 8 to 12 rep range means like that first set should be 12, and then maybe it goes to 10, and then maybe it goes to 8 because it's that challenging. So make sure you're choosing a weight that is challenging to do that. Once you finish those, you'll go into barbell curls. We're looking for 20 to 30. That might be a 15-pound bar. You can add weight to that, or the 35 or the 45-pound bar, but same thing, all the way up, all the way down. And then we have dumbbell bent over raises. So we're going to be looking at just hinging over, and then we're bringing those up. We're bringing them up almost like a dumbbell reverse fly, but we're looking at where our thumbs are positioned facing down, and just pulling and working on that scapular retraction to kind of finish out the day. All right, continuing those hero wads on Saturday, giving you guys some options. As we look at this, we have the modified Holly Man, which is 20 rounds for time. The full one is 30 rounds for time. You have 5 wall balls, 3 handstand push-ups, and 1 power clean. And then we have the team version, which basically you'll complete a full round before the other person does, and you'll get 15 total rounds there. Now, when we're looking at this, that weight on the power clean is pretty heavy. If that weight is over, if you're doing it by yourself, that weight shouldn't be over 70%, and then, or maybe 70, 75%. And then if you're doing it with a team, it might be up to 80%, so it allows you to go a little bit heavier because you're going to have that rest. And then on the handstand push-ups, if you have strict, I would do them. And just moving the wall ball, moving nice and steady. This, again, was we talked about being able to do these hero wads on Saturday. The volume on these are a lot higher, and the reps and things like that will be a lot higher. So we do really look at that team version as being the one that we want to really drive people to do more than anything else, okay? But if you've missed some days and you've done this workout before and you really say, hey, I feel good and I want to challenge myself to do it by myself, then that's okay. You can do that. Just move steady, move consistent. It should take maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, but it really should be about a minute around at the very slowest. That's how this workout should really flow as an EMOM. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. That is the week. If you have any questions, please reach out to us, let us know, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you have questions on the block or anything outside of training, just let us know, and we'll look to try to get you guys the best solution out there. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.